as you mentioned, storytelling is key to leadership. Great leaders are great storytellers. You've studied storytelling, you've taught storytelling. And would you be able to share some tips for our audience, things that would help them become great storytellers, become influential leaders?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, how did I get into storytelling? In 1977, I packed up my belongings into my van at the time and drove down from Boston down to Jonesboro, Tennessee for the Storytellers Convention. And that's been going on for many, many years. And I just listened to so many amazing storytellers of all different shapes and varieties, and people that could just create spellbinding experiences for their audiences. And so I got very inspired by that. And I love the concept of story. Then if you look ahead at some of the most profound leadership development thought leaders, like Warren Bennis, Noel Tishy, they talked about that the role of the leader is to look back on their histories, to those crucible moments, those moments of trial and tribulation, of success and failure, extract the learning from it, the wisdom from it, and share it in the form of stories. So it starts right away, because stories, what they do is they answer the unmet question in people's minds. So if someone's coming into an organization or taking over a new team, there's two sides of it. One is executive presence and the other is story. You could be walking into a room of 200 people. You don't know all of them, but they know all of you. They know you. And as you're walking up onto the stage, they're forming an opinion about you, how you hold yourself, how you connect with them. Do you connect with them? And in their minds, they're thinking, who are you and why should I care? Some of those leaders, they just come in and go, okay, here we go. They're hard driving. They just jump right into the action. Are they taking people with them? It's so important for leaders to meet their audiences, their people, where they are, and take them to where they didn't even know they wanted to go. So that means, what's that unmet question? So if someone comes onto stage and says, I know this has been a really difficult time. It's been an acquisition. Some of you are been in the organization for a long time. Some of you are new. What I want to let you know is that fairness and integrity are critical to my leadership. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Now, if they just said fairness and integrity are foundations of my leadership and then just moved on, the audience would go, yeah, okay, great. But when they share a story that illustrates those values, it's a direct narrative story, meaning first person, present tense. It allows the audience to walk with them and experience that moment with the leader. That lands their value. And they go, I get you. Then it's up to that leader to then demonstrate that over time, obviously. But the use of a story in that context is very powerful. And then there are so many other ways to tell a story. That's, it can be, it meets the headline. It's like you look into any situation and there's a headline. And when you define that headline of the situation you're walking into, that's either unresolved or stuck or whatever it is, and you look back on your own history and you find a time when you experienced that same thing. As an example, I'm coaching the president of a local bank in Boston, and I had worked with him initially as in preparation for a keynote presentation to 500 credit risk officers. And we worked really well together. And the key for him was opening with a story, and he nailed it. He was amazing. And he brought me in to do an offsite with his team. And halfway through, he said to everyone, I have to go because we're doing an acquisition, or this is the last day. I have to go in and address all the employees. I said to him, so what are you going to do? And he looked at me and said, he explained it. I'm going to tell this and tell this and tell this and tell this. I said, okay, have you ever been in this position before, like the people in the audience? And he went, oh, you're going to tell a story. I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you, have you considered your audience and who's going to be in that room and what they might be feeling and thinking? He said, I got it. Thank you very much for reminding me. He came back, big smile on his face. I said, how did it go? It goes, great, let me tell you. He stepped up to the mic and he said, thank you all for being here. I understand many of you have questions in your minds. Is this going to be a great place to stay? Do I need to be looking for another job? I want to let you know that 15 years ago, I was in your exact position. I was working for a bank just a few miles away, and we were ready to purchase this other bank about a similar size. All of a sudden, the next day, we got noticed that we were being acquired by a much larger bank. It was a shock to everyone. I was given a pink slip that day, and no one spoke a word to me. It was one of the worst days that I can ever remember in my career. So I understand how you're feeling right now. And I'm here to say, if you want to know about us, come talk to us. If you want a job here, we'll find a job for you. If not, we'll help you move into that next role. That's great leadership. Big difference, right?
Right.
Big difference.